You know what that level is?
Do you understand the question?
I understand the question.
Are you comfortable in answering it, or is it beyond your expertise?
That would be beyond my expertise.
Sustain.
And likewise, the blood level that would cause a patient to be unresponsive to painful stimulus. I take it you don't know that.
That's correct.
Well, when you concluded that lorazepam had some sort of causative effect in the death, or benzodiazepines, are we talking just benzodiazepines or lorazepam solely as having a causative effect in Mr. Jackson's death?
Well, we're talking about lorazepam and midazolam.
But the midazolam is insignificant, really.
There is a smaller amount, yes.
Well, what was the amount?
The amount of midazolam in the blood was 0.0046 micrograms per milliliter.
So when you talk about smaller amount, it's between 2 and 3%, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're really talking about, when you're talking about benzodiazepine, you're talking about lorazepam, aren't you?
Mostly, yes.
And when you determined that it was a causative factor in the death, did you do some research to find out exactly how high a level that is?
Yes.
Did you make a determination as to how many milligrams it would take to get there?
No, I could not make that determination.
Well, when would you be able to make that determination if you knew that the SALT study shows that 2 milligrams will get you to a 0.018?
You already answered the question.
Sustain.
Well, assuming that if we assume, based upon your prior answer, that 2 milligrams gets you to a 0.018, would you have an idea how many milligrams it takes to get to a 0.169?
Objection. At what? There's many variables. At what time were the pills taken, etc. It's an improper hypothetical.
I'll overrule the objection. If you're able to answer it as phrased, let us know. If not, let us know.
Now, could you repeat the question, please?
Sustain.
Based upon your previous agreement that one pill will get you to a 0.018. That's one 2 milligram pill. How many 2 milligram pills would it take to get you to a 0.169 if they were taken at the same time?
Objection. How much time between taking the pills and measuring the blood levels?
Well, let's just go peak level. Assuming
I think you're
169
going
is
to have to
peak level.
re-ask the question. Sustain.
Okay, assuming the peak level that you get with a 2 milligram pill is 0.018. How many pills would it take you to get to the peak level of 0.169?
It would take about 9 pills, I believe.
So that'd be 9 times the recommended dose on the prescription bottle that we're looking at, correct?
Yes.
Now, I understand. Am I correct in assuming that the coroner's office did not examine the? You didn't examine the stomach contents for lorazepam, correct?
That's correct.
You didn't examine the urine samples for lorazepam either, did you?
That is also correct.
But you did examine the urine samples for midazolam, didn't you?
Yes.
Why?
Objection calls for speculation. He's not the toxicologist.
The objection's overruled.
I don't know. The choice of testing is made by the toxicologist.
Okay. But the lorazepam was way more significant than midazolam, wasn't it?
Objection vague.
Overruled.
Yes.
Now, in the urine sample, you had a urine sample that was about 450 cc's that, based upon Dr. Murray's statement to the police, was collected somewhere between the hours of 7 and 7:30. You recall reading that?
This, I believe, was the urine sample that was present at the house.
You refer to it as a scene urine in the report?
Scene urine, yes.
Scene urine. Now, in addition to the scene urine, there was a urine specimen collected at a later point in time at time of autopsy, correct?
Yes.
And that was in the vicinity of 500 cc's. Are you correct?
Yes.
And so we've got two similar amounts of urine collected, approximately 4.5. Well, it wasn't the autopsy urine wasn't collected till the next day, was it?
It was collected on the day of the autopsy, which would be the 26th.
But you would expect it to reflect the urine status at time of death, wouldn't you?
Well, it would be an average of whatever the urine status was since the last time he urinated.
Okay, so if that would be probably an average, if the last time he urinated was 7:30, the 12 o'clock time of death, or approximate 12 o'clock time of death, it would be an average of urine collected during that interval of time, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And the urine comes out of the bloodstream, doesn't it?
Yes.
And the urine collected at between 7 and 7:30 would be an average of the urine collected from the last time before 7:30 that the individual urinated, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And that would be produced out of the blood also, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And so urine testing from that standpoint, although not as precise as a blood sample, basically reflects what's coming out of the blood, doesn't it?
Yes.
Now, if we had a urine sample at time of autopsy that is higher than the urine sample collected, the scene urine at between 7 and 7:30, if the urine sample at autopsy were higher in lorazepam content, you would expect the blood to be higher in lorazepam content also, wouldn't you?
Objection, speculation beyond his area of expertise.
If you know, you may answer. If not, tell me.
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay.
Sustain.
If the urine sample at time of autopsy reflects a higher level of lorazepam than the urine sample at 7:30, you would expect the blood to have more lorazepam at time of autopsy than the blood had at 7:30, wouldn't you?
Same objection, same question.
Are you able to answer the question?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, because it depends on things like when does he get the lorazepam, how fast is he making urine. There are several variables in there that make it difficult to answer.
Overruled with that answer in mind.
Okay, so if a person had 4 milligrams of urine, say at 2 milligrams at 2 o'clock and 2 milligrams at 5 o'clock, and then took 8 lorazepam pills at about 10 o'clock, would you expect the urine concentration to be higher at time of autopsy than it was at 7:30?
Objection has already indicated he needs to know the answers to other variables such as urination, etc.
Sustained.
Let's assume that the person urinated at 7:30 and there was a lorazepam content in the urine. And then the person took 8 lorazepam pills at 10 o'clock. Would you expect there to be a higher lorazepam content in the urine at time of autopsy?
Yes.
And that is because you would expect a higher blood concentration of lorazepam at autopsy, too, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about your coroner's report. You determined the death in this case to be a homicide, didn't you?
Yes.
And in making that determination, you based it on 4 assumptions.
There were 4 factors which led to that conclusion.
The first factor that was circumstances indicate that propofol and the benzodiazepines were administered by another. That's factor number 1.
Yes.
What makes you think so?
Well, the only indication that we have of what happened is what Dr. Murray told the police, and he said that he did give benzodiazepines and propofol.
But Dr. Murray indicated that he slowly infused 25 milligrams of propofol over 3 to 5 minutes, didn't he?
Yes.
That wouldn't get you to a 2.6 micrograms per milliliter, would it?
Probably not by itself.
Okay. And Dr. Murray also told you that he gave 2 milligram injections in IV of lorazepam.